Thai government takes tough stand. Demands for UN-led talks rejected. Red shirt leaders ordered to surrender. Volcanic ash cloud grounds more planes. Parts of Ireland and Britain, latest in Europe to be hit with flight disruptions. And welcomed home by French government. Teacher accused of spying in Iran has prison term commuted to a large fine.
It looks as though the Thai army has seized the initiative in the battle with thousands of anti-government protesters who have occupied central Bangkok. The heaviest fighting is in the Bong Kai area of the city, leading to the main business district. At least 20 have died over the last 3 days and scores have been injured. The government has rejected protesters' calls for UN-supervised talks to end the crisis. A state of emergency has been extended to a further 5 rural provinces, curbing activity in the protesters' stronghold. The military now say a curfew will not be imposed in flashpoint areas of Bangkok, as it's not yet needed. And officials have asked the Red Cross to help evacuate the Red Shirts' fortified camp in Ratcha Sprong by a Monday deadline. Some children, women and the elderly have reportedly already begun to shelter in a temple inside the camp. Those outside the barricades are left to watch and wait. There are pockets of urban unrest sprouting up throughout central Bangkok. But the fighting is near some foreign embassies and many have been temporarily closed. The British Foreign Office has advised against all but essential travel to the Thai capital. But these tourists are taking events in their stride.
We got to see fire going across the sky, and we heard bangs and guns going off for the first night. So it's been a little bit exciting.
You know, we had a bullet come through the hotel window in the restaurant. Still, it's no problem, you know. I mean, these things happen in life.
The crisis has paralysed Bangkok and is squeezing what is Southeast Asia's second biggest economy. There are concerns it will scare off future tourists and choke further investment in what's one of the region's most promising emerging markets. The no-fly zone over parts of the northwestern UK and Ireland has been extended to midnight on Sunday local time due to the high density of volcanic ash drifting over from Iceland. In scenes that have become all too familiar in recent weeks, thousands of passengers have been left stranded in airports. The reach of the ban has also been extended to Birmingham and Norwich, but airports around London are as yet unaffected. However, the government has warned that parts of UK airspace, including the southeast, may have to close until Tuesday. Airspace across Europe was originally closed for an unprecedented 5 days due to fears that the ash particles would clog up jet engines. Experts say the Eyjafjallajökull volcano's last eruption went on 2 years, and this current one could last several months. The wind is expected to change direction midweek, taking the ash cloud away from the UK.
A French teacher put on trial in Iran last year on charges of spying has been welcomed back to Paris by senior officials. A jail term imposed on Clotilde Rice was commuted to a large fine. I would like to pay tribute to the inmates I was with during a month and a half in the Evan prison, who treated me like their sister. And my thoughts are particularly with 2 men who were executed in January this year, who were sitting beside me on the day of the public trial, which you saw on the television. My thoughts are with them because I was so devastated by what happened to them. So today, free in my country, my thoughts are with them. Rice's release comes just weeks after France refused to extradite to the US an Iranian engineer accused of illegally buying equipment for military use. Also, an Iranian serving life in a French prison for murdering an ex-Iranian prime minister is due to be paroled and sent home on Tuesday. However, the French foreign minister maintains there's no connection between those two cases and Rice's release. The teacher was among thousands of people detained during widespread post-election unrest last year. She had been in Iran working at a local university.
The Turkish Prime Minister will join the President of Brazil in Iran in the next few hours as they try to bring an end to the country's nuclear standoff. It comes after a draft agreement hinted at using Turkey as the location for a fuel swap. Both Brazil and Turkey, non-members of the UN Security Council, are opposed to sanctions against Iran. Ignacio Lula da Silva wants to convince his Iranian counterpart to reconsider the proposals from the UN nuclear watchdog. But Iran's oil sector is also on the agenda. Brazilian officials say the two countries are likely to sign a memorandum that would open the way for Brazilian companies to help modernize Iran's oil industry. The visit by the Brazilian president is seen as an attempt to seek more diplomatic clout on the world stage.
More news in brief. Supporters of Kyrgyzstan's interim government have marched in the capital Bishkek, called by 15 national youth movements. Organisers say it was to establish peace and stability. The demonstration follows violence on Friday when armed loyalists have ousted President Bakiyev, who's now in Belarus, briefly took over administration buildings in two southern cities before being expelled. The latest opinion poll in Spain says the opposition's lead over the government has doubled in a week. The increased lead comes after a week in which additional spending cuts were announced by the ruling socialists. And the poll also says 3 out of 4 Spaniards don't think the extra 15 billion euros of cuts are enough. Cash points are a common sight the world over, but now the world's first gold point has opened in Dubai. The machines were first tested in Germany last year, but Abu Dhabi was chosen for the first installation because of the high demand for the metal there. The ATM-style machine updates the price every 10 minutes.